have 9.9 lakh in your main trading account and 10,000 in a different broker, a different account, which will call the खुजली account. Usually when you see जब आप वो trade करते हो, then it gets easier to control the downside of your portfolio. So what couple of things what we do is कि long term portfolios को we hedge it with a long dated puts. जो आपको किक मिलती है, जो आपका डोपामिन इफेक्ट होता है, वो अच्छे से हिट हो जाता है, राइट? मजा आता है एकदम करने में कि कुछ गड़बड़ किया और उसमें गलत हुआ, सही हुआ, डजंट मैटर कि मैं हर सिनेरियो में पैसे कमा सकता हूँ, हर सिनेरियो में मैं पैसे लूज भी कर सकता हूँ, राइट? इफ आई गेट थ्रिल आउटसाइड द मार्केट, आई डोंट एक्सपेक्ट थ्रिल इनसाइड द मार्केट, राइट?
Hi guys, welcome to Upsurge podcast. Today we have someone very special with us today. Someone who has been in the markets since he was 16. He is an engineer who then moved to system-based trading, and he has been trading for the last 10 years, so has an extensive knowledge of the markets and systematic trading. We have none other than Spandan Vyas with us today, who's also the founder of Vyascap. Welcome to the podcast. Very excited to host you and learn about your journey in the markets. I want to understand, how did that transition from engineering to trading happen, and you rejected offers from MNCs and choosing trading as a profession back then. How did it all happen?
First of all, thank you, Siddha, for inviting me. Thanks for the Upsurge team also. So I think the aim was always to be in financial markets. Okay, the first step was always that was always the plan, that we first will cover the tech part, then we'll cover the finance part, and we'll do something in fintech. It was quite easy for me. This was the planned path for me. So since start, tech, I always looked at tech, which should be worked in sync with markets, right? So when the offers came from MNCs, mostly my plan was to give markets a chance for a couple of years. If it doesn't work out, then I'll maybe go back to my IT job or something like that.
How did you convince your family? Were they supportive for trading as a profession?
Right. So being from a Gujarati background, ironically, no one in my family is from business background. Everyone has done MBAs, PhDs. My mother's a professor. My dad is a MBA in finance. So I was the first one from, I think, for third, fourth generation that has involved in the business kind of thing. And so that was a difficult part. Ironically, I had to convince them कि गुजराती हूँ, धंधा तो हमारे खून में होता है. Let's start that. So mom was a little hesitant at first, but dad knew financial markets, so he was supportive. So eventually, it took some years to convince mom also, but yeah, right now they both are happy.
Nice. So since you are a system-based trader, right? So you don't sit in front of the screen, say, for a long period of time, and you don't monitor the markets consistently because your systems are working for you. So what does a typical day for you look like?
So I follow football a lot. So if there's not a PL night, then I'll wake up in the morning at 6. I'll go for badminton, for 1 hour badminton. Come back by 8:30, and then get ready, have coffee, and maybe I'll start the monitoring the markets at the start of the first hour of the market, and then most of my day goes goes involved in R&D or reading books or watching some podcasts. I always have one screen of market open throughout the day. Like having automation doesn't mean you keep a blind eye towards market. You have to. There can always be some mishaps happening, so you always have to monitor it. So it's not like you don't even watch what's happening in the market. So being a full-time trader, I have to look at that also, because looking at live price action it has its perks and disadvantages also, but watching it live just gives you some kick also, that an algo trader misses.
Yeah.
Right?
So what are some of the key things that you track during the market hours?
So usually I watch indices only, more indices, and then if there's an RBI event or something like that, I'll monitor those things. But broadly, I just keep an eye on indices.
So you are, a successful trader, right? So what do you do with the profits? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I know you also invest in startups and also look at long-term investments. So how does that work out for you?
So most of my profits go into my trading capital only. I'll invest them in a long-term asset. and I'll pledge them and trade on those margins. But as for diversification purpose, I have some in debt funds also, and in so I last year visited a convention in Bangalore where one of my friends told me that he turned his capital 20x within a year by investing in a startup, and he just asked, "Okay, it's almost impossible to do that in while you are trading, right?
Yeah.
So without taking extraordinary risk." And I just thought, okay, maybe there is one more asset which is more riskier, more rewarding than FNO. Then why not uh, take advantage of the age and diversify in those things also? So yeah, since then I've started investing in some startups also.
What are the kind of sectors that you invest in?
So mostly the sectors that I understand. So fintech, mainly fintech or purely tech. So mostly on these sectors only.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. And I want to understand a bit about your portfolio and your personal investments. Trading is one part of what you do, but how do you manage your money apart from trading? What are the kind of investments that you've made?
You should be actively involved in maybe one segment only or max to max two. So if I'm purely active in FNO segment, I choose not to be that active in equity segment. So for my long-term investments, I usually choose ETFs or mutual funds, so that at least I don't have my mind is not involved in those segments. I'm purely focused on FNO. So most of my investments are government securities, gilt funds, and mutual funds, equity mutual funds, flexi caps.
And do you pledge your mutual funds?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Awesome. So I want to understand your approach towards balancing technical analysis with the fundamentals.
Right. For a trading perspective, so I'm a purely index options trader, right? So my trading time frame, holding time frame is ranges from 1 2 hours to max 2 3 days, 1 week, right? So fundamental factors are not doesn't play a very key role in deciding my trading, but more purely is technical and some quantitative analysis, right? So I'll use as simple as looking at pure past data, how they have behaved historically, right? And mixed with, if there's a Fed event or RBI event, then I'll maybe go light and overnight positions, but that's it.
Okay. Now, can you walk us through your process of creating a new strategy and then backtesting it? Like, what does the entire process look like? If someone wants to do it on their own, right? Someone wants to get started with systematic trading,
Right.
How should they go about it?
Right. So the first step, so you choose systematic trading will is something like you are instead of you, someone else is placing your trades. Just as simple as that, right? So what you need to do is, how will you trade first? What will you do? What's the first step you will take? You have to define it like that. So the first step that we take is pattern recognition, right? First thing you need to do is look for patterns in markets. So I'll give you an example. A simple pattern is like price moving above previous day high tends to go higher. I've manually seen this for a week कि यार प्राइस प्रीवियस डे के ऊपर जा रहा है तो प्राइस एंड ऑफ द डे थोड़ा और ऊपर जाता ही है. तो दिस इज अ थीसिस, दैट इज अ पैटर्न दैट आई हैव सीन फॉर पास्ट फ्यू वीक्स. नाउ व्हाट आई डू, ये 1 2 हफ्ते के लिए तो मैंने मैन्युअली देखा है, इट हैज वर्क. नाउ लेट्स डू इट फॉर 4 years 5 years 10 years. 10 साल में भी ये सेम पैटर्न, इज इट अ लॉन्ग टर्म पैटर्न, इज इट अ गुड पैटर्न टू ट्रेड ऑन, स्केलेबल पैटर्न? वो चीज करने के लिए यू हैव टू डू बैक टेस्ट. सो सेकंड स्टेप इज बैक टेस्ट. when you automate when you quantify the whole pattern, कि you'll mention कि यार previous day high के first tick पे I'll go long और previous day high के 1 minute close पे I'll go long. You have to specify that. एक चीज को आप specify करिए, उसको आप 5 years 10 years के back test पे देखिए. Now you see a pattern, now you see from back test report कि PNL is like positive. So you are saying कि यार ये pattern holds true for since 5-10 years. So this pattern is tradable. Third step will be optimization. So you'll look for, should I trail or not? You'll see there are two terminologies, MFE and MEE, which basically means के ट्रेड डालने के बाद कितना फेवर में गया आपके और कितना ऑपोजिट फेवर में गया, मैक्सिमम, राइट? सो आपने 100 पे एंट्री ली, द प्राइस वेंट टू 110 एंड एंड ऑफ द डे यू क्लोज इट एट 106. सो योर MFE, मोस्ट फेवरेबल एक्सटर्शन, इज 10 पॉइंट्स, जो 10 फॉर फेवर में गया. एंड सपोज फॉर एग्जांपल 100 से 99 गया, 110 गया, then 105 गया, right? So your MAE will be -1 and MFE will be +10, which is basically कितना max profit आपका जा रहा है before closing the trade. So you look at factors like this and decide कि trailing करनी चाहिए या नीचे करनी चाहिए, should I trail aggressively or not. तो ये सब चीज़ें optimization में आती है. But optimization should be done on a backtest which is already profitable, right? तो what most people do is कि कोई ओके backtest रहेगी, उसको optimize करके better बनाते हैं. वहाँ पे 99% sure curve fit हुआ है, right? So the basic backtest should have a good expectancy, should be profitable. उसको आप optimize करें थोड़ा सा increase करने के लिए, and that should be a right approach. Then fourth step will be going live testing for the forward testing, which is forward testing. You'll be checking के जो cost हमने assume किए थे back test में वो live से match हो रहे या नहीं हो रहे. And then if it's matching, then we'll go to the final stage, which is going live on execution on every account. So it's a 5-step process, which usually depends on your skill. It can take from 1 month to maybe 6 months also. If you have a coding background, तो फटाक से हो जाएगा. But no matter how long or how short is it, you should follow all the 5 processes. What I feel.
So I want to touch upon backtesting a bit. So see, you've had a long journey in the markets. You've made your mistakes and learned, right? But what are some of the things that in backtesting, if people can avoid? So 3 things you see commonly people making mistakes around those. What are those?
All right. So one very unique mistake that many people overlook is, so most 99% of people will backtest on a 1-minute data, right? Because if you're not doing high frequency trading, tick data is very costly and is not that favorable to you. You don't need it. 1-minute data should suffice your backtest report. So what many people do is they'll, while exiting a trade, you have entered a long trade, while exiting a trade, they'll check the minute close of that data, right? So suppose our entry was at 100, we went to 110. Now suppose stop loss था हमारा 99 पे. The price, the 1-minute candle का low था 98 and it closed at 101. तो what they'll do is कि हमने close compare किया and they didn't exit the trade. तो क्या होता है कई बार ना जो spike आते हैं, you have not exited on those trades. But when you are going live, आपने stop loss डाल दिया 98 का live market में, तो that spike has already hit your stop loss. So when you compare that live and backtest report, आप उसमें देखते हो कि backtest में तो hit नहीं हुआ stop loss, live में hit हुआ है. So it's a very common mistake जो काफी लोग ignore कर लेते हैं. So that 1-minute candle का high low you should be taken care of. Very simple mistake है, not that complicated, but it's one thing you should take care of. And if you are doing a 1-minute backtest only, so maybe try going live also on 1 minute. So take your trading decisions on 1-minute time frame. So maybe you can do that. Other couple of mistakes I feel is you should have a good data for backtest. काफी लोग online websites पे free data देख लेते हैं. And most of those data are spoiled data. काफी सारी जगह null data होता है, high कुछ भी रहता है, low कुछ भी रहता है. So investing in a good data from a reliable source, from NSE approved source, should be a good starting point. ये काफी लोग ignore करते हैं. It's a one-time cost जो आपको करना चाहिए. So that's one of a big mistake that many people do.
So what tools do you use for backtesting, if you can tell us about it?
So we use Python basically.
Okay.
So all of our backtesting is done in Python.
So when you are backtesting your strategies and then actually deploying it in the live markets, I'm sure discrepancies होता है. So how do you optimize your algos then?
So we try to see के discrepancy कहाँ हो रहा है. You have to be specific के entries में हो रही है, exits में हो रहा है, कोई exact time पे हो रहा है. तो कई बार ऐसा होता है कि 9:16 के ट्रेड्स पे यू आर गेटिंग डिलेड, बट बाद के टाइम 10 o'clock 11 के कोई ट्रेड्स है तो वहाँ पे डिले नहीं हो रहा है, विच मीन्स आइदर योर एल्गो इज स्लो, विच इज वेरी रेयर, बट आइदर दैट इज द केस, और योर ब्रोकर हैज more than specified users on the one servers. तो ओवरलोड की वजह से आपका ऑर्डर स्लो जा रहा है. तो you have to look at those things. इंटरेस्ट की चीज़ देखनी पड़ती है आपको कि where is the error is coming from, what is the source of it, and I feel try to remove the middlemans. Like कई बार लोग there will be many steps in between from the order placement to brokers terminal जहाँ पे आप ऑर्डर डालने वाले हो, तो वो डिले कई बार उसकी वजह से हो जाता है. तो you can maybe remove those things. So there are many things like that you should be looked at, that we look at to optimize it.
You know, I've spoken to a lot of traders over the last 2 years, and everyone has one key. And everyone has one key message to give us is that trading में discipline सबसे ज़्यादा important है. If you are not disciplined, you can't be a good trader. And I know you are a big advocate of discipline in trading and having the right mindset. So, what are some of the lessons that made you reach here? Basically, being a disciplined trader and having the right frame of mind when you are in the live markets.
Right. So, goes without saying, discipline is very much necessary for a long-term career in trading. So, what one can do is when one is facing difficulty in being disciplined in trading, uh, outright. So, I look at it like something like not being disciplined in trading is a bad habit. So, you have to look at
Yeah.
it at a bad in such with such perspective. It's a bad habit. एक गंदी आदत है जो तुमको छोड़नी है. तो टेक एन एग्जांपल ऑफ स्मोकिंग, राइट? तो आपको जब स्मोकिंग बंद करनी होती, यू डोंट गो के स्मोकिंग मैंने आज से बंद कर दी है, अब मैं जिंदगी में कभी नहीं लूंगा. मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल जो ये पाथ से जाते हैं यूजुअली फेल होते हैं. व्हाट दे विल डू इज गो थ्रू फेजेस कि यार स्मोकिंग से दे विल गो टू निकोटिन पैच, फिर वहां से धीरे धीरे कम करेंगे. या 10 में से 10 पैकेट था फॉर एग्जांपल, आई डोंट स्मोक, आई डोंट नो, सो 10 पैकेट था तो व्हाटएवर, सो यू डिक्रीज इट टू 5 पैकेट और समथिंग लाइक दैट, राइट? सो आउटराइट 100 से डायरेक्ट 0 पे आना या 0 से डायरेक्ट 100 पे जाना इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट. इट्स नॉट डूएबल. वन मोर गुड एग्जांपल इज लाइक डाइटिंग, कि आप तुरंत चालू कर दोगे स्ट्रॉन्ग डाइट, कीटो डाइट चालू कर दोगे, इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल टू स्टे डिसिप्लिन. Same way in trading, what I've suggested to many newbie traders also who have met me here, how do we stay disciplined, is have a khujli account, right? It basically, what is that is, you have, suppose for example you have a 10 lakh account, right? So have 9.9 lakh in your main trading account and 10,000 in your a different broker, a different account, which will call the khujli account. Okay, so जब आप you place all the main trades with the on your main broker's account, and जब आपको ट्रेड के बीच में खुजली होती है कि कुछ करता हूँ मैं यार, मैं बोर हो गया हूँ, then go to trading, then this खुजली account, जहाँ पे आपको जितने ट्रेड्स डालने डालो, लगातार डालते रहो, कोई इशू नहीं है, राइट? सो if your risk management is in check, right? अगर आप 1% 2% पर ट्रेड्स में मान लो, ये खुजली अकाउंट को जीरो होने में भी बहुत टाइम लगेगा. तो टिल देन व्हाट यू नीड टू डू इज के यू नीड टू जर्नल दिस थिंग्स कि यार एक वीक में मैंने I did in main account I did 5 trades all disciplined. खुजली अकाउंट में मैंने 50 ट्रेड किए. नेक्स्ट वीक का एम है 49 खुजली ट्रेड्स करेंगे, फिर 48 करेंगे. तो इवन आई फॉलो दिस प्रोसेस. आई हैड अ स्मॉलर अकाउंट जहाँ पे मैं कुछ भी करता था, उससे जो आपको किक मिलती है, जो आपका डोपामिन इफेक्ट होता है, वो अच्छे से हिट हो जाता है, राइट? मजा आता है एकदम करने में कि कुछ गड़बड़ किया और उसमें गलत हुआ सही हुआ, डजंट मैटर. यूजुअली व्हेन यू सी, जब आप वो ट्रेड करते हो, यू डोंट रियली केयर अबाउट द आउटकम, बस करना है इसलिए कर रहे हैं, तो करो वो चीज़, नॉट एन इशू, बट छोटे अकाउंट में कर लो, राइट? सो आई चोज दिस पाथ ओनली, एंड आई थिंक इट्स बिन ऑलमोस्ट 6-7 years that I have not even opened my खुजली अकाउंट.
Oh,
right?
wow.
So eventually it becomes easy. धीरे धीरे आप करेंगे उसको, तो डिसिप्लिन is not that difficult. So there's a very good book called Atomic Habits, जहाँ पे राइटर ने आपको छोटी छोटी हैबिट स्टैकिंग बोलते हैं, जो छोटी छोटी हैबिट्स, एक हैबिट पे दूसरी छोटी हैबिट डालिए, वैसे करके हाउ डू यू रिमूव बैड हैबिट्स एंड ऐड गुड हैबिट्स, राइट? सो इट्स अ वेरी गुड अप्रोच. So 0 to 100 एम मत करो, 0 to 10 20, then go like that.
So एक दिन में नहीं होगा, but एक दिन जरूर होगा.
हो जाएगा, yeah, definitely.
For that, on Dhan also we have this very interesting thing. आपका traders diary है. रोज go and put the notes for your that particular trading day. That helps you stay consistent and become disciplined and know what you did right or wrong today in the markets.
So a famous trader has said कि every trader is either a idiot or a moron, right? So I want to be I don't want to be a moron, I would like to be an idiot. So what the difference between them is कि the moron keeps repeating the same mistakes. So a difference between a professional trader and an amateur trader is journaling. जब आप जर्नल नहीं कर रहे हो, इट्स बेसिकली यू आर गैम्बलिंग. आप कसिनो में जाते हो तो आप डायरी लेके नहीं बैठे रहते हो कि क्या कर रहा हूँ मैं, क्या नहीं कर रहा हूँ. यू आर गोइंग टू एंजॉय, राइट? सो जर्नलिंग आप कर रहे हो, जस्ट बेसिकली मीन्स दैट यू आर सीरियस अबाउट दैट ट्रेडिंग.
So you mentioned risk management, right? So I want to understand how do you look at it? आप आपका personal trades का risk management कैसे करते हो?
So there are many layers to it, right? So per trade आपका क्या risk है, per day risk है, per week, per month, something like that. You have to define every layer of the risk, and that's how we do के ये अगर per trade our risk is not more than 0.5%. This depends on your psychology also. We are a very conservative trader, so हमें 0.5 भी बहुत ज़्यादा लगता है. Then per day 1 से ज़्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए, per week इतना नहीं होना चाहिए. If in any case those things break, if the risk management has broken, so what you need to do is take a break from trading also. You have to introspect कि ये चीज़ क्यों हुई. Was it an external cause? Was it due to a systematic risk, or was it due to an unsystematic risk? Right? So unsystematic risk is what you can control. वो सारी चीज़ें आप कंट्रोल कर सकते हो. Systematic risk is जो सिस्टम का ही रिस्क है, which you cannot control. Right? So for example, you took a overnight trade and ये पुलवामा या कुछ अटैक हो गया, राइट? तो फटाक से गैप डाउन हो गया, ये यूक्रेन का कुछ वॉर हो गया, फटाक से गैप डाउन. दिस टाइप ऑफ रिस्क यू कुड नेवर हैव गेस्ड इट, राइट? तो ये कभी पता ही नहीं था, तो सडनली आ गया. तो इफ इन दोज सिनेरियोज आपका रिस्क पैरामीटर टूट रहा है, तो यू आर फाइन कि यार ये चीजें मैं देख नहीं सकता था, जो हमें लॉस हुआ है, इज इट मोर देन व्हाट वी हैड एक्सपेक्टेड, इज इट कंट्रोल्ड, should we do something about it? So these are the questions that you need to ask जब ये आपके layers जब आपके टूटते हैं.
So very fair point on markets, and no one can predict it.
Right.
Top कभी बनेगा, bottom कभी बनेगा, no one can predict, right?
Yeah.
So I want to understand how do you protect your portfolio from these unforeseen events, like you mentioned the attack, and then there was COVID and a lot of other things keep happening. So how do you protect your portfolio?
So before I answer the questions, रिस्क लेना है, रिटर्न लेना है चाहिए तो रिस्क लेना पड़ता है. दैट्स गोज विदाउट सेइंग, राइट? तो आप ये नहीं कह सकते कि 0% ड्रॉडाउन रहेगा और मुझे रिटर्न चाहिए, तो फिर तो एफडी ऑप्शन है. सो यू हैव टू फाइंड अ बैलेंस वेयर हाउ मच रिस्क यू आर विलिंग टू टेक विथ हाउ मच रिटर्न यू विल गेट, राइट? तो बेसिकली दैट्स अ रेशियो कॉल्ड कैल्मर रेशियो, व्हिच इज CAGR डिवाइडेड बाय मैक्स ड्रॉडाउन. तो अब जो तुम्हारा सपोज योर कैल्मर इज रफली 3, तो योर मैक्स ड्रॉडाउन इज 10%, तो आप रिटर्न 30% के आसपास रफली बनाओगे. तो यू कांट एक्सपेक्ट 10% ड्रॉडाउन लेके मैं 100% रिटर्न करूंगा. यू हैव टू बी विलिंग टू, इफ यू वांट अ 50% रिटर्न, तो तुम्हें रफली 15% 16% का रिस्क लेना पड़ेगा. तो यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दोज सिनेरियो. तो जब आप उसे जब ये मेट्रिक को आप समझने लगते हो, देन इट्स गेट्स ईजियर टू कंट्रोल द डाउनसाइड ऑफ योर पोर्टफोलियो. So what couple of things what we do is के long term portfolios को we hedge it with a long dated puts, leaves कहते हैं उसको, US में it's काफ़ी popular है. So we have done a analysis backtest किया है हमने 20 साल से, and we've seen के just with some technical indications, if we can judge के market अब not bullish scenario में है, उस phase में will buy long dated puts with respect to the beta of our portfolio. Now it's getting more technical, but simply beta is basically आपका stock कितना move करेगा when Nifty moves 1 point. If your beta is 1, your stock will move 1 point when Nifty will move 1 point. If your beta is 2, stock will move twice of Nifty's move. तो according to that Nifty का जो आपका portfolio का beta value है, उसके according आप कितना risk लेना चाहते हो, there's a lot of details that go into that, but हम basically what we'll do is कि we'll buy long term puts according to those scenario. So what we did was in COVID scenario, Feb March में there was some signals on chart कि यार गिरने वाला है. So before that lower circuit was hit, we already had more than portfolio of hedging puts, long-dated puts say, which gave us a very good return, capped the downside also.
So what are your views on algo trading currently? And I'm sure you've seen the consultation papers and all that have come out, right?
Yeah,
so what are the challenges do you see, and what is the upside?
So first challenge I feel is the wrong notion that algo trading कर लिया तो पैसे बनने ही वाले हैं, right? तो ऐसा नहीं होता है, right? Algo trading is basically what you will be trading, वो एक machine करने वाली है. That's the only difference between algo trader or a manual trader. That's the only difference. तो that what you need to understand is कि algo trading मतलब आप सिर्फ उसको उस चीज को ऑटोमेट कर रहे हो. The crux what you are trading, the rules that you are setting will come from you only.
Yeah.
Right? So eventually you will be the person who will be responsible for the P&L report. P&L क्या आपका आ रहा है, right? Not the algo, right? So one misconception many people have is कि will go automate कर देंगे तो हो जाएगा, पैसे कमाने लगेंगे. So that is a very big misconception. And the challenges I feel many people have is uh, they will have a more complicated system. There are many now platforms available, right? 5 10 years back काफी difficult था किसी भी चीज को automate करना. Now if you are doing a very simple system, time based system, there are many platforms available and very good platforms available which you can automate. But if you want to go about that, like if you want to build a price action based system, something like that, then there's still no platform available right now, that not that I know of. And वो चीज आपको automate करेंगे तो then it gets a little difficult. You need to have a coding background, or maybe you need to know someone who knows coding. So tech, I feel, plays a very important role, very crucial role in going live with automation.
I'm sure you know now AI ML is the thing and it's here to stay. And we've seen a lot of fields, right? A lot of creative work, also specialized jobs, they are getting replaced by AI.
Yeah.
How do you foresee this for algo trading? What are the opportunities leveraging AI?
Right. So I feel ML is at a stage where you can exploit uh, the advantages of ML in share market. But I feel AI वाला I've not heard now till yet कि AI के level पे it's completely automated, सब अपने आप decision ले रहा है. I don't think we have reached that point. Maybe in future, but definitely machine learning can be used right now as a good source of alpha. Again, it depends on what logic you are giving the program, right? So again, यही misconception, like जो algo trade कर रहे हैं उनका ये misconception होंगे कि ML करेंगे तो पैसा बढ़ने लगेंगे, right? So there's always one more level जहाँ पे when you go deep into those levels, then you understand कि यार काफी सारी चीजें, काफी सारे inputs has to come from you also, which will give you the right result, right? So AI ML is not like एक बटन दबाया चालू हो गया, right? तो काफी depends on your knowledge also.
So trading is emotions, market sentiments, right? So in, say there's a certain event that has happened, let's take COVID for example, right? Black swan event. How did you know, adjust your strategies during that time, and mentally also how did you prepare yourself, so given that, you know, a lot was happening in the markets? So how did you deal with it?
So I have a little bit of controversial answer for this. Okay, many algo traders, full-time traders, believe that once you go live with automation, the only thing that you need to do is not touch the algos, right? But I feel that maybe if with experience, if you know some fundamental factors, you can play with the position sizing of algo, right? Combined with that, I think it gives you an edge. Personally, it has given me an edge. So the day COVID was declared a pandemic, right? I think you have to reach 1 million people that there is something like that, some figure. When the day that it was called a pandemic, I've decreased my algos position sizing by 90%.
Okay.
The algo was running on only 10% position sizing, and I had bought a lot of puts, so which worked out well. But yeah, I had made some changes in my algos also.
So a lot of, you know, macroeconomic conditions do impact your day-to-day trading, right? So for a beginner, can you break it down? Like, how do I analyze that? For example, US will declare some, you know, Fed rate cuts or things like that. So how do I analyze that, and what are the parameters that are going to impact my day-to-day trading? So
so it depends on what time frame you are trading. As a beginner, if you are doing intraday trading, then I don't think macroeconomics will affect that much. Okay, if you are have a long term, medium term time frame, then maybe you need to look at those things. Again, saying that, I've never found a very good correlation between fundamental macroeconomic factors and judging the direction of market, right? So for example, many people have a notion that election में ये जीतेगा तो market ऊपर जाएगा, वो जीतेगा तो नीचे जाएगा. But देयर आर मेनी केसेस जहाँ पे एक पार्टी जीती है तो भी ऊपर गया है, दूसरी पार्टी जीती तो भी ऊपर गया है. So I don't think, I think maybe it should be used as a additional filter maybe, but not the decision maker.
Yeah. So, since you are into index options trading, right? I want to understand from you, for a beginner,
Yeah.
what would you recommend? Starting with equity trading or getting into options trading directly?
No. Obviously, starting with equity only. Options is a very different ball game.
Yeah.
There are a lot of unknown things involved. As simple as a Greek called delta, right? Equity में if you have bought at 100, अगर वो 100 हुआ, you have तुम्हारे पास ₹1 का profit है. Options में ₹1 का profit नहीं होगा.
Yeah.
उससे कम हो सकता है, उससे ज़्यादा हो सकता है. To understand those things, first at least you need to know equity. So I think always start with equity, cash trading पहले करिए, and there are many advantages of starting with cash. First thing is कि capital आपको कम लगता है. Second thing is there's a very huge difference between analysis and trading. राइट, तो वो जो तुम्हें एनालिसिस तुम प्री मार्केट करके तुमको लग रहा था कि मैं बहुत अच्छे कमाऊंगा पैसे, और जब तुम लाइव ट्रेड करोगे तब तुमको समझेगा कि डिफरेंस क्या है. राइट, तो यू गेट टू बिफोर जंपिंग इनटू ऑप्शंस एटलीस्ट हैंडल द इमोशनल बैगेज ऑफ कैश ट्रेडिंग. एटलीस्ट वो आप क्लियर कर लीजिए. स्टे प्रॉफिटेबल फॉर एटलीस्ट maybe 1-2 years. If you are staying consistent, I feel defining it absolute years की जगह I think more apt way will be के defining in cycles. So moving to a different segments के पहले एक segment को आप पकड़ बनानी है उस पर, तो what you need to do is कि you maybe have to go through 2 cycles of bear market and bull market. So 2 बार आप एक बार ये सहन कर लोगे, come out profitable, then maybe you can move to another segment also. कि यार मैंने हर चीज देख ली है यहाँ पे 2 बार.
So let's say कोई 3-4 साल से मार्केट में ट्रेडिंग कर रहा है, they want to move to index options trading now.
Right.
तो ऐसी कौन सी 3 चीज है they should remember?
Right. So first thing is you need to understand the Greeks of options. At least know the basics. Deep dive आपको नहीं भी करना है तो it's okay because it's a little complicated. But at least know the basics of Greeks, how options move, with respect to days to expiry, how options move when you go out of the money, in the money. ये सब चीज़ें basics है जो आपको at least मालूम होनी चाहिए. You shouldn't be shocked कि यार मैंने ऐसे कर लिया तो ये उल्टा कैसे चल गया. Second thing I feel is a very good new opportunity is now in your hand, in your arsenal, is you can make money in a non-directional market also, which was not possible in cash.
Yeah.
So you have a very great opportunity right now to make money in all 3 kinds of market. So understand that, digest it कि मैं हर सिनेरियो में पैसे कमा सकता हूँ, हर सिनेरियो में मैं पैसे लूज भी कर सकता हूँ. राइट, तो you need to digest that. Excitement एक बार वो नीचे हो गया, you need to understand that. So if you can capture that thing of non-directional market also, then you are good to go. Third thing, I maybe start with one indice. Right now we have many indices that have options. Earlier it was only Bank Nifty, then it was later Nifty was introduced. Now multiple indices have options. Right, so maybe stick to one index, get used to how the options are moving with respect to the index, master it, then maybe move to other indices.
So guys, if you want to learn index options trading, we have recorded a special course for you where we teach you how to get started with trading in index options, and also Spandan will walk you through his strategies. Check out the course, it's in the description below. तो एक ट्रेडर को ना मार्केट में हर क्या चीज हो रही है उसकी अपडेट्स होती है. हाउ डू यू स्टे अपडेटेड? बिकॉज एक तो चीज होती है कि न्यूज एंड एक होता है नॉइस. हाउ डू यू फिल्टर आउट नॉइस फ्रॉम द न्यूज?
जो स्कूल में हमें करते थे बून वर्सेस बेन वाला डिफरेंस ऑफ सोशल मीडिया, राइट, एडवांटेजेस एंड डिसएडवांटेजेस. सो आई फील दिस कम्स इनटू एडवांटेज पार्ट ऑफ सोशल मीडिया. सो ट्विटर इज अ वेरी गुड सर्कल. द Fin tweet is a very good circle when you are connected with the right mind of people. So I think all of my almost 90% of my news that is happening in market. So I don't watch the news channel in market. So I just follow Twitter. If there's a big news, then I think the Twitter is a very good source to know what's happening in market.
So what are some of the things you mentioned, right? आपका दिन का सुबह का time R&D में जाता है. What are the things that you research on, things that you read up? What is the kind of content that you consume?
So mostly I'll watch a podcast or something like that on market. Maybe try to get a fundamental perspective कि maybe इस तरीके से भी इसको देख सकते हैं. Maybe I'll watch Upsurge courses. Right. So talking with different traders also, knowing their style, knowing their story, how they've evolved. उससे काफ़ी आपको नॉलेज मिलता है. एंड रीडिंग बुक्स लाइक मार्केट विजर्ड्स वेयर you have a real life experience of traders who have been trading, right? So that gives you a good perspective. Discussing with someone always will give you a new perspective, because काफ़ी बार अगर आप अकेले अकेले ही सोच रहे हो तो you just stay in the same loop. कितनी बार मेरा हुआ ऐसा, मैं दिन में मैंने 12-13 घंटे काम किया है और फर्स्ट आवर और 13वें घंटे में नेट रिजल्ट जीरो था, मतलब पूरा घूम के मैं वहीं पहुंच गया, राइट? सो देयर इज वन फियर इन बिगिनर्स के मैं बोलूँगा तो अल्फा लीक हो जाएगा, समथिंग लाइक दैट, राइट? सो आई थिंक व्हेन यू आर बिगिनर यू शुडंट वरी अबाउट दैट, बिकॉज अभी आपका डिस्क्रेशन का कोई वैल्यू है नहीं. डिस्क्रेशन बेसिकली गट, राइट? तो अगर आपका गट कम्स फ्रॉम एक्सपीरियंस तो आपके गट की वैल्यू कुछ है ही नहीं. तो डोंट गो इनटू दैट सीक्रेसी वाला थिंग एंड ऑल. डिस्कस विद अदर ट्रेडर्स कैसे कर रहे, give other traders info about you so that they can guide you, they can give guidance to you specific, right? So I read a quote somewhere where people someone had did a test कि गाड़ी हाईवे पे बंद पड़ी होती थी and the passenger was asking for help. कोई रुक नहीं रहा था, right? But same scenario, गाड़ी बंद पड़ी है but हाईवे पे the passenger is trying to figure out बोनट खोल के कि क्या हो रहा है, क्यों हो रहा है. Then many people stopped and started helping me. So I think the conclusion is कि people like to help people who help themselves, right? अगर you'll ask someone कैसे चालू करूँ ट्रेडिंग, क्या करूँ मैं इसके आगे, like if other person sees that you have put zero effort from your side and you just need कि यार मुझे प्लेट पे दे दो कि क्या चाहिए, तो मोस्टली सामने वाले का आंसर भी वैसे आएगा कि ये मेहनत नहीं करने वाला है. तो दिल से आंसर नहीं आएगा इफेक्टिवली. तो आई फील maybe if you're asking a serious trader, seasoned trader about your queries, though maybe start with I've done this research, right? And I've come to this conclusion. Now should I move on from it? सही है कि नहीं है, something like that, right? So put efforts also.
तो मार्केट्स में हर कोई आता है प्रॉफिट बनाने के लिए, बट सब लोग नहीं बना पाते प्रॉफिट्स, वेरियस रीजन. डिसिप्लिन नहीं है या तो ज्यादा ग्रीडी बन गए, ड्रॉ डाउन हो गया. हाउ डू यू डील विद ड्रॉ डाउन्स?
So dealing with drawdowns, I've been very lucky in that aspect. So I found a very good partner who I can share with my emotions, right? So I feel one should always have someone to see. Trading is a very emotionally टेंशन वाला जो काम है, राइट? इमोशनल बैगेज आपका बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाता है, राइट? सो योर स्ट्रेस लेवल्स एंड एवरीथिंग इज़ वेरी हाई, राइट? तो आई फील देयर हैज़ टू बी वन आउटलेट जहाँ पे आप उससे इस चीज़ को डिस्कस कर सो. आई स्ट्रांगली एडवाइज कि अगर इफ समवन कैन अफोर्ड अ थेरेपिस्ट और परफॉर्मेंस कोच, यू शुड डेफिनेटली डू इट. थेरेपिस्ट के पास जाना इज अ वेरी गुड एंड हेल्दी वे टू लिव लाइफ, राइट? सो people have a very wrong notion about going to therapist, right? So you should always see to a therapist, or maybe in my case, luckily my wife is my therapist, right? So I feel having the right strategy se zyada important I feel is having a right partner, right? Right family. All of them support me hugely, and they stand by me when I have a few drawdowns, because drawdowns जब आप face करते हो तो it's a very steep downhill. You start questioning your life choices, you start questioning your career choices, right? So you need to have someone जो who is always optimistic के don't worry हो जाएगा cover, right? And हाँ, with experience drawdowns handle करना भी थोड़ा easy हो जाता है. मे बी आप फर्स्ट ईयर में ड्रॉडाउन आओगे तो एक महीने के लिए दुखी रहोगे, सेकेंड थर्ड ईयर में आएंगे तो एक हफ्ते के लिए दुखी रहोगे, बाद में मे बी एक दिन के लिए दुखी रहोगे.
Yeah.
तो दुख तो होगा थोड़ा, राइट, बट मे बी थोड़ा कम लेवल, कम टाइम के लिए होगा, एंड कम यू विल बी एबल टू हैंडल इट बेटर. One very good advice, practical advice that I can give to handle drawdowns is have a different source of income with trading, right? So the major pain happens to a trader in drawdown is when his only source of income is trading.
Yeah.
तब बहुत गड़बड़ होने लगती है कि आप जब ड्रॉडाउन में आते हो तो ये सिनेरियो नहीं आना चाहिए कि यार घर कैसे चलेगा, वो वाला क्वेश्चन नहीं आना चाहिए. तो इफ यू आर ट्रेडिंग राइट नाउ, इफ इट्स योर ओनली सोर्स ऑफ इनकम, start building your corpus to have something else also in your portfolio, as good as debt fund. If you already have a volatile income, then choose something which is not volatile stream of income choose करिए. Very good option is debt fund. Yeah. Right? So maybe start building a corpus. True freedom, financial freedom तब हो सकता है maybe जब your yearly expenses are taken care of from FD returns. Yeah. Right? Then तुमको फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता कौन कहाँ जा रहा है, क्या कुछ हो रहा है, right? If you reach that stage, maybe so right now even my aim is to build corpus on that level कि at least fixed income ही मेरी life जो मैं अभी जी रहा हूँ जिस level पे मुझे आसपास आराम से maintain कर सकता है. So trading में मुझे काफी light feel होगा, काफी freedom feel होगी कि it's not that stressful, right? Because it's not the only source of income.
Yeah. I really want to thank you and appreciate you for mentioning, the therapy part.
Yeah.
Very, very important. And trading is a lonely job. 9 to 3, you are in front of the screen. Trading alone is very, very needed. Another aspect to this is over trading.
Yeah.
लोग रिवेंज ट्रेडिंग करते हैं, trying to recover their losses और लॉस बना लेते हैं. How to manage this?
So again, over trading can be handled by using that Khujli account. It's a multi-purpose Khujli account. Okay. I feel journaling and this Khujli wala jugaad is a good solution to being disciplined and handling over trading also. Yeah. Right? Have a trading partner with you, right? Who you can discuss openly everything. Strongly advise कि as a beginner have a partner with you, have a friend जिसको आप every week trading अपना journal share करो आपस में, and discuss with each other के यहाँ पे mistake हुई, यहाँ पे mistake नहीं हुई, मैंने ये हफ्ते 10 बार mistake की, अगले हफ्ते मैंने 11 बार कर दी, तो मे बी यार उल्टा my graph is going downward direction, right? Yeah. तो मेक श्योर के अगेन 0 to 100 नहीं जाना है, 0, 10, 20, राइट? तो ग्राफ ऊपर जाना चाहिए कुछ भी हो जाए. तो आई फील जर्नलिंग इज अ वेरी गुड एस्पेक्ट टू कंट्रोल दोस थिंग्स. एंड ट्रेडिंग जस्ट लाइक बिकॉज लोनलीनेस देन अकाउंटेबिलिटी भी नहीं होती, राइट? तो किसी को बोलने के लिए कोई पूछने वाला कोई है नहीं, तो हैव अ ट्रेडिंग बडी विथ यू जिसके साथ यू कैन शेयर एवरीथिंग. तो मे बी एंड गिव हिम अ राइट टू आस्क फ्यू क्वेश्चंस आल्सो कि यार तूने ये क्यों किया, ये क्यों नहीं किया, राइट? बी ओपन विद दैट.
So I want to understand your 3 trading rules that you follow like the Bible. मतलब ये तो follow करना ही है चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए.
No revenge trading, right? Never look at drawdowns as a bad thing, right? कई बार drawdowns आते हैं तो एक पॉइंट पे आप रीच कर लेते हो, जब आपको drawdown आते हैं तो आपको शांति मिलती है कि यार drawdown नहीं आ रहा था, कुछ गड़बड़ तो नहीं कर रहा हूँ मैं, कुछ गलत तो नहीं कर रहा हूँ, right? So drawdowns are necessary. जंप करना है तो आपको पैर झुकाने ही पड़ेंगे, right? So you have to go down to go jump up, right? So drawdowns accept कर लो, part of life, part of reality. Third rule, maybe I can have something like a share knowledge with talk to other traders, right? It's a very capitalist business, right? तो बहुत सब अपने अपने में रहते हैं. So when you help someone else, तो थोड़ा आपको अपने अंदर से अच्छा लगता है कि यार कुछ सोसाइटी के लिए भी हमने कुछ किया है, right?
Last few questions for you. How important is mentorship in trading, and how do you find a mentor? कहीं लोगों को ये question होता है, मुझे mentor चाहिए, but they don't know how to reach out to people. मेरे को क्या पूछना चाहिए मेरे trading mentor को?
Right. सो इट्स अ वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन, राइट? तो ये मुझे पहले भी लोगों ने पूछा है कि मेंटर्स कैसे ढूंढे। तो आई थिंक ना यहाँ पे कंसेप्ट रॉन्ग हो जाता है व्हेन पीपल से मेंटर्स, राइट? पीपल लुक एट मेंटर्स एज तो रामायण के गुरुदेव गुरुदेव हो, ऐसे जो आपको हर चीज समझाए ए टू जेड। यू तुम्हारी एक्सपेक्टेशन मेंटर से वैसी हो जाती है, तो दैट्स अ वेरी रॉन्ग अप्रोच। तो आपको मेंटरशिप कैन बी डिवाइडेड इनटू 100 parts. So you can have a mentor to guide you with discipline. You can have a mentor to guide you with trading strategies. You can have a mentor to guide you with emotional stress. You can have multiple mentors, right? So find a specific thing, find someone who is excelling in those things, right? And maybe ask him politely कि यार maybe be specific about your query, right? ये मत बोलो कि मुझे कुछ नहीं आता है and मुझे सिखाओ, right? Like I said कि
No one will spoon feed you.
exactly. So if you make efforts from your side, तो आपको mentor भी अपने आप मिलता ही है. You have to find mentors. So even I learned like that only. तो जब मैंने algo trading चालू की थी, it was a very in a very nascent stage. तो जो मुझे हर छोटी चीज पूछनी पड़ती थी मल्टीपल लोगों को, राइट? तो ब्रोकर साइड पे इंफ्रा कैसा है, तो मैं मल्टीपल ब्रोकर्स को पूछ रहा हूँ. टेक साइड पे इंफ्रा कैसा है, क्या चीज़ें मार्केट ऑर्डर्स करनी चाहिए नहीं करनी चाहिए, लिमिट ऑर्डर करनी चाहिए नहीं करनी चाहिए. तो एवरीथिंग आई यूज टू आस्क मल्टीपल पीपल. तो मैं आई डिडंट डीएम पीपल लाइक कि मेरे को एल्गो ट्रेडिंग चालू करनी है, मेंटर मी, राइट? तो इट्स अ वेरी वेग एंड ओपन क्वेश्चन. सामने वाला भी डर जाता है कि क्या सिखाऊं इसको मैं. सो बी स्पेसिफिक विथ योर क्वेरी, put your and show that you have put effort in your query. आपने थोड़ा रिसर्च किया है, राइट? And ask specific doubts. So I think mentor have many mentors like that. तो एक mentor जो तुमको हैंड होल्ड करेगा वो पर्सपेक्टिव में मत रहो. There will be many people, there are many helpful people also. Be specific. सब लोग तुरंत ना कुछ हेल्प करते ही हैं. And there is one more side of getting educated is one-way education, right? Mentorship will be a two-way education.
Yeah.
There's a one more approach where is one-way education, which is like online, which is YouTube, the Upsurge course, something like that, right? So even those things will give you a good knowledge.
So one last question for you before we move to a quick rapid fire. We all know there are two T's which are very important to you: trading and traveling.
Yeah.
So how has traveling, impacted you as a trader? Anything that you've learned from there and जो trading में आपने use की हो?
हाँ, traveling I feel is helps me control, I think, my over trading things also in over trading aspects, and helps me stay disciplined also in trading, right? कई बार क्या होता है कि जब सेम चीज बार बार कर रहे हो तो आपको एक ब्रेक लगता है कि यार आज कुछ और करता हूँ, something like that, right? Traveling gives me that break कि maybe I'll experience something else. I'll experience a different culture. I'll experience a new activity. So usually my travels are mostly with aim of doing one adventure activity, right? So if I get thrill outside the market, I don't expect thrill inside the market, right? So having a boring market life is easy to deal with if I have a very exciting outside market life. तो in that way it complements each other, तो काफी easy हो जाता है, I feel, to trade those.
Wow, that's one way to look at it. Cool. So we'll move to a quick rapid fire. Okay, I'll shoot questions to you. First, one favorite movie on stock markets.
Too big to fail.
The Lal Street or a tropical beach for a vacation?
I feel if you are doing algo trading, every tropical beach is your Dalal Street.
In one word, how would you describe the feeling of hitting a big win?
I think won't matter to me. I think when you are going automation, and if you have years of experience, I don't think hitting a big win or hitting a big loss matters to you that much, right? So emotions dull down हो जाते हैं when you have been doing the same thing years and years.
Dream destination for a trip?
New Zealand.
Tea or coffee to stay
Coffee.
awake during the markets?
Coffee.
Wow. One adventurous activity on your bucket list?
Skydiving is pending.
If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, trading advice, what would it be?
This too shall pass.
Oh, nice. If you could have dinner with one famous trader, who would it be?
RJ, definitely. I feel he would have given straight practical advice. Wouldn't have sugar-coated. I feel
Yeah.
उनके साथ कभी मिलना ही होता तो मजा आता.
What was your most memorable trade, be it profitable or a loss making one?
So it's a loss-making trade. I was trading Sun Pharma when I was in college, and I had faced my biggest loss in percentage wise. I had shorted. I don't remember the day, but I had shorted Sun Pharma. It went up, and I think I lost 15-20% of my capital. And बाद में वो नीचे गिर गया था तो और दुख हुआ था. Right? So yeah, Sun Pharma.
Last one, bear market or a bull market? What do you prefer?
हाँ, so bull market, always bull market. Everyone's happy. सबको खुशियाँ मिलनी चाहिए. Why not bull market?
Awesome. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. I've learned quite a bit, and I'm sure our listeners will also learn a few new things from you. Thank you so much.